The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. Yesterday I finished chapter 3. I'm going to start chapter 4 today. So on Sunday morning, while church bells rang in the villages along shore, the world and its mistress returned to Gatsby's house and twinkled hilariously on his lawn. "He's a bootlegger," said the young ladies, moving somewhere between his cocktails and his flowers. One time, he killed a man who had found out that he was nephew to Vandenberg and second cousin to the devil. "Reach me a rose, honey, and pour me last drop into the crystal glass." Once I wrote down the empty spaces of a timetable, the names of those who came to Gatsby's house that summer. It's an old timetable now, disintegrating at its folds and headed this schedule in effect July 5th, 1922. But I can still read the great names, and they will give you a better impression than my generalities of those accepted by Gatsby's hospitality and paid him subtle tribute of knowing nothing whatever about him. From East Egg, then came the Chester Bakers and the Leaches, and a man named Bunsen, whom I knew at Yale, and Dr. Webster Civet, who was drowned last summer up in Maine, and the Hornbeams, and the Willie Volteries, and a whole clan named Blackbuck, who always gathered in a corner and flipped up their noses like goats whatsoever came near, and the Ismays, and the Christies, or rather Hubbard Outback, and Mr. Christie's wife, and Edgar Beaver, whose hair, they say, turned cotton white one winter afternoon for no good reason at all. Clarence Endive was from East Egg, as I remember. He came only once in white knickerbockers. And had a fight with a bum named Eddie in the garden. From farther out on the island came the Cheadles and the ORP Scredders and the Stonewall Jackson Abram of Georgia, and fish guards and the Relish Snails. Snail was there 3 days before went to penitentiary. So drunk out on the gravel drive that Mrs. Elise's Sweat's automobile ran over his right hand. The Dancies came, too, and the SB Whitebait, who was well over 60, and Maurice of Flink, and the Hammerheads, and Beluga, the tobacco importer, and Beluga's girls. From West Egg came the Pauls and the Morettis, and Cecil Roebuck and Cecil Sean and Gullick in the state senator, and Newton Orchid, who controlled films par excellence and exhaust, and Celia Cohen and Don S. Schwartz, the son, and Arthur McCarty, all connected with the movies in one way or another, and the Catlips, and the Bambergs, and G. Ear Muldoon, uh, brothers to that Muldoon, who afterwards strangled his wife, Da Fontano, the promoter, came there, and Ed Legros and James B. Rockcott, Farrett, and the De Jongs, and Ernest Lilly, they came to gamble, and when Farrett wandered into the garden, it meant he was cleaned out, and associated attraction would have to fluctuate profitably next day. A man named Klispringer was there so often that he became known as the boarder. I doubt if he had any other home. Of theatrical people, there were Gus Ways and Horace O'Donovan and Lester Mayer and George Duckweed and Francis Ball. Also from New York, there were Crumbs and the Backy Sons and the Dennikers and Russell Betty and the Corrigans and the Kellers and the Dowers and the Scullys and S.W. Belcher and the Smirks and the Young Queens, divorced now, and Henry L. Palmetto, who killed himself by jumping from the subway train in Times Square. Benny McClellan arrived always with 4 girls. They were never quite the same ones in physical person, but they were so identical one with another that it inevitably seemed they had been there before. I have forgotten their names. Jacqueline, I think, or else Consuela, or Gloria, or Judy, or June, and their last names were either the melodious names of flowers and months, or the sterner ones of the great American capitalists, whose cousins, if pressed, they would confess themselves to be. In addition to all these, I can remember that Faustina O'Brien came there at least once, and the Bedecker girls and young Brewer, who had his nose shot off in the war, and Mr. Albrechtberger and Miss Hang, his fiancée, and Ardita Fitzpeters, and Mr. P. Jowett, once head of American Legion, and Miss Claudia Hip, with a man reputed to her chauffeur, and a prince of something, whom we called Duke, and whose name, if I ever knew it, I have forgotten. All these people came to Gatsby's house in summer. Well, I guess that's for today. I don't have much time left. So, yeah, that's for today, and I'll see you guys tomorrow then. See ya.